It is 12:59. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. Well, last time we saw Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill, he was walking off the post-game presser podium with a walking boot on. Just met with the media minutes ago discussing an ankle sprain.
It's a process for sure. Just doing everything I can in the training room here, at home, all types of treatments. So, yeah, just trying to stay on top of it as much as I can and give my body a best chance to heal.
Is that a regular ankle sprain, an ankle sprain?
It's an ankle sprain. I'll leave it at that.
Titans take on the Houston Texans on the road on Sunday, and one new Titans receiver may be making his debut against his former team as the team signed Chris Conley off the Chiefs practice squad. The eighth-year pro started the season in Houston, where he caught 22 passes for 323 yards and a pair of scores last season. This comes, of course, with the Titans placing wide receiver Kyle Phillips on IR on Tuesday. Kansas City defensive end Frank Clark has been suspended 2 games for violating the league's personal conduct policy. That does mean Clark will miss the Titans game in Week 9 at Arrowhead Stadium. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. What's going on, everybody? Woo! That's what we like to say when the music starts playing. We need to do this, though, before we get anything started today. I saw earlier today the Tennessean published this. We have a good time. We smile a lot and have a great time, but the great Joe Biddle has passed away. And if you were, Blaine, he covered you as a Tennessee Oiler and a Titan, and he may have even covered you as a Houston Oiler before you got here. I know some of the press corps.
He lived in Houston?
No, but I think some of them got dispatched down there even before you guys ever showed up here. But fantastic newspaper guy, and he was a fantastic radio guy, and I know he was a proud veteran, and he was just a fun guy to talk to. He had great stories, and my impressions of Joe, he was nice to everybody. He treated everybody the same. I just wanted to certainly pay my respects to a guy, and you certainly knew him a lot better than I ever got to know him.
Yeah, I just want to pay much respect and prayers to him and his family for all that he did in this community, not only as a writer, but just throughout the community. So another legendary, writer and reporter no longer with us. So prayers to him and his family.
You hope when you get in this business, you can make some kind of mark. You just hope, gosh, can I make some kind of mark? And he did. He made a mark on people and made a mark on the people he covered and so much more. So rest in peace to the great Joe Biddle. You will not soon be forgotten. I can promise you that. Titans and Texans this week. Lucas, I know you've got a little bit of that.
Oh, whoa. Before we do that, you just said Lucas.
Oh.
It's your birthday. Happy birthday to
your
Lucas.
birthday.
He actually finally turned 19, so he's excited about that.
Still waiting to buy that first beer.
Yeah, he still is not legal yet, so we have to keep him under wraps here. But yeah, man, happy birthday, man. So yeah, we got you a few gifts. We always know we can never go wrong with yours truly, the Vols. But I really should have got you some Alabama gear. That would have made it right.
I appreciate you guys, man. Y'all are the best gift givers of my birthday the last couple of years. Last year, y'all got me that like orange and white sort of little jacket thing, like that
jacket,
I wear it all the time. I wore it when I was in Orlando watching the Tennessee-Bama game, and then this year, this black Tennessee sweater with the orange Vols in honor of the blackout and the white Crocs. Fantastic.
We feel like we had to balance it out there.
Yeah,
the white and white. Speaking of that, we got the Halloween colors, the blackout, hoodie or sweater there with the orange lettering. Man, what did you think about the jerseys and their colors, man? I mean, you're a Vol. I mean, they mixing up too much. I know I can tell you one thing. I liked it, but I really love the helmets. I like
That's
that
new.
part of it.
Yeah, so that was supposed to happen last year for the Kentucky game, but some supply chain issues got backed up and they had to go with the white. But I do like the look with the black helmet. It kind of completes the dark mode look and fitting to do it on Halloween weekend.
Is this the first time they've done 2 different jersey changes through a season? I'm just not thinking because I know they did the gray jerseys.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if they did the grays.
UT used to never hardly, but one time, boy, it used to be a ruckus. But see what happens when you win?
Yeah,
people care.
Everything's
but it's
great
cool.
when you win it.
It's okay, though. It's
That's
okay.
great.
Yeah.
I wonder, did they do the grays at all last year at any point?
I don't think so.
No, I think they. I can't remember if they did gray jerseys or dark mode jerseys against Georgia in Neyland Stadium last year. They definitely did alternate jerseys against Georgia. I think it was black. I think they did the dark mode twice last year.
Oh, they did. Okay. I thought it was out of the norm, but yeah, they're gonna change it up. Go Halloweenish.
Can I just say this, and maybe I'm in the minority here. The year that Brent Schaefer played a lot of quarterback for the Vols, whatever that year, maybe you remember, Lucas.
Oh, yeah, number 7.
They wore the Condredge Holloway
Yes.
throwbacks.
Yes. Bring those back.
Give me
What year
all
was that?
of those all of the time. That's my favorite. That's my favorite UT jersey that the Vols have ever worn. And I didn't grow up in Tennessee. I've lived here in 21 years combined. I like the black. My high school colors were orange and black. When I was young, that's exactly what my high school looked like. They had black jerseys, black pants, orange helmets, though, but similar uniforms. But give me all the orange and black. I love it. But the Brent Schaefer Condredge Holloway throwback.
What was that? It was just orange and white pants?
No, it was a white jersey with orange shoulders.
Yeah, the orange shoulder pad, orange shoulder over the pads.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the Holloway look.
What year is that?
So Holloway's
70?
the 70s, but
70s?
but they brought it back in the early 2000s. Like you're talking
04, 05?
Yeah,
You got to give me a
03,
picture
04,
of that. I don't
in that
know
range.
if I recall that.
Right
one.
before Casey Clausen.
Oh, I remember Clausen, yeah.
Oh, I
can't
don't
remember
I
what
don't know
these
why I
jerseys
always
are.
call them the Brent Schaefer jerseys because I remember him in that jersey.
Yeah, I know, and he was a very highly recruited prospect that just didn't pan out at all at quarterback. But because he was wearing the number, right? He was wearing number 7, and Holloway was number 7 in those jerseys. But I do agree with you. If they're going to bring a throwback, they haven't done any throwbacks. They do these new alternates with the dark mode and smoky gray. But yeah, I agree with you there. I'm showing the Zone TV audience my new Crocs and this sweater you guys got me.
Okay,
yeah,
Blaine.
you could just take a picture of him and post it, just like I did with my
Like a
Titans
normal
gear.
person.
No, with my Titans gear they gave us for alumni weekend.
No, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man.
All
Gotta
right,
do it,
here.
man.
Can you see that from here?
Oh, okay. That was. Oh,
It was a more modern take on it, but it was a similar thing to what Condredge Holloway wore. Right? If you're on Zone TV, where's the camera?
You could put the camera in front.
There
of
you go.
Yeah, I think I'm on the other side of that.
I'm
not with
I
those.
love that.
Did you like those, Lucas? Yeah,
I was
just from afar. I can't see that far away, but I don't know if I like those.
Oh man, the Condredge Holloway 70s era Vol uniforms, I loved, and when they went back to that, and I guess it was an homage to that because it was, the colored shoulder pad part of the jersey. I have no idea. Somebody's going to tell us what season that was. People are just telling Lucas happy birthday on them.
Oh, I can't see the chat because Lucas didn't pull it up, and I don't know how to do all that.
Hashtag blame Lucas.
He left me out hanging here, man.
We also asked the question. It's funny you brought this up, Blaine, because people love to complain about things like uniforms. They love to complain about that, especially when things aren't going well. So we asked on Blaine and Mickey, what do you think about the new Tennessee uniforms? And it is overwhelmingly in favor of said uniforms. A poll, if you want to weigh in on Blaine and Mickey, you can. Also, Butch Spyridon is going to join us soon. He's the president and CEO of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation. People are... If you have a question, like you're a PSL holder, you've got some question that you want to ask, Butch probably knows about, or there's no probably, I bet he knows more about this than anybody, so we're collecting questions as well. But what do you think of the new Vols orange and black uniforms? 73.5% love them. I can't believe that many people love anything. Throw in 12% who like them. And
No, they love winning, and that
that's
makes everybody happy.
85.5% love them or like them. 7.2% meh. I couldn't think of a better word for like, I can take them or leave them. And don't like them, 7.2%. So 14.2% either impartial or don't like them. I'm curious, for the people who don't like them, do they just not like them because it's not black or orange and white? Do they just not like anything that's not orange and white?
I think it's that. Traditionalists,
I mean, does that mean they also don't like the smoky gray because it's not
I
orange
would
and white?
assume that. Yeah,
Did you like the smoky grays?
I do. I like the smoky grays. I like the black. I like change up at the appropriate times, and I think 2 times a year, your Halloween, So yeah, I'm cool with either one. But the foundation of the jerseys, Tennessee you gotta be at least 6-7 games, man. And then you got to think about, okay, want to make sure all of them, should be at home, but that doesn't work out that way because you're trying to appeal to the recruits. So you got a little swag to yourself. See,
You know,
that's what it does, and they like all that stuff, man.
They do
and
like
Oregon
it.
just has destroyed everybody. Now everybody has to succumb to it.
Well, I mean, like Arkansas State has 3 helmets now. You know, I mean, everybody's got all these uniform combinations. You're right, because Oregon did it, and they did it great, and everybody wanted to be more like that. But it's funny, Alabama, they wear the same thing every week. You know,
Yeah,
and they still seem to do fine with the recruits down there.
they do.
You just kind of get what you get down there.
Yeah, their recruiting is you was on the sideline when we won a national championship, huh? You want to get a ring? Okay. Yeah, you come in here.
Okay, well then come wear this plain jersey and this helmet.
And that
Why
time,
would
and
you
that,
wanna go
and that time
somewhere?
would happen at Tennessee at some point here in the next 3 or 4 years, or you hope.
But why would you want to go somewhere that wins all the time?
Yeah, what's the fun in that?
Nobody wants that. You want an opportunity if you're Jimbo Fisher.
This is not on the script for the show, but Blaine just brought this up. He's 3 or 4 years. If you're a Vol fan, maybe get you one of those national championship.
Yeah.
If we took you to court and there was a case and they were trying to, I don't know, had to swear on a Bible, Lucas, and you had to answer. Do you believe? You have to answer this truthfully. We're in court here. Do you believe that the Tennessee Volunteers will win a national championship in football? I'll even say within the next 5 years. Blaine said 3 or 4. So 5 years. Do you believe they will? It could be this year. Do you believe? I mean, you got Hendon Hooker right now.
Yeah, theoretically.
And
could
it's
be.
not even Nico, who they recruited to come and, as a baby to come into the system
As
and
a
learn
baby.
it. He's a
Stop
baby.
that.
He's a recruit. They got the older version of Hendon Hooker, and look how he turned out. They tried to recruit past him with Milton.
You know how many NFL quarterbacks Hooker is older than? Like the list, I don't have it in
What?
front of me, but there is a list that is
How
that
old
is
is he?
interesting.
He's only 25, isn't he?
He's like 25.
It's
yeah.
everybody drafted in the last 2 years, right?
Pretty much.
I think everybody drafted within the last 2 years, and maybe even somebody from 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of those guys get drafted at 21.
Well, he's older than Sam Darnold. That's why I like
That's it. Darnold.
It was Sam Darnold for sure because he just turned 20 when he got drafted.
Yeah, Darnold got drafted. Well, Darnold is 25 right now.
Right.
Yeah, he just turned 25 in June. But to answer your question, I believe they can. Saying they will is, you get to that point and things can happen in the playoff, and I don't know. But the fact that they are in a position where you can confidently say, I believe they can. The fact that you're in a position where you can say if Tennessee just beats the teams they're supposed to beat, Kentucky, South Carolina, Missouri, Vandy, down the stretch, it's going to be hard to keep them out of the playoff. Mm-hmm. That in and of itself was an unfathomable thing to say just a couple months ago. An 11-1 Tennessee team, if they were to lose to Georgia and beat the rest, would be hard, would be difficult to keep out of the playoff.
Kind of goes to one of the things that I always think, people always ask me, well, if you were an athletic director, because I know you worked at that, what would one of my philosophies would be this. I would only hire a coach who had like a system, like a proven system. In other words, I would hire a guy like Josh Heupel because he has a proven system. It's been proven to work in various levels of football, and it's been proven to work again. And even last year, I remember talking about the team, and we said, gosh, what if they just scored a lot of points? And even if they lost some of the games,
Just be fun.
just be fun. What if they were just fun? Because fun puts butts in seats. If you lose 42-40, now I know you can't lose them all that way, but if you're playing everybody close and you're fun to watch, what you don't want is a team that's an absolute just, I don't want to say a bad word here, but just a dumpster fire offensively, defensively, where you have no identity. Josh Heupel's team has an identity, at least offensively, as soon as he gets there. I mean, as soon as he walked in the door, they had a turnkey offense that teams would have trouble preparing for. So, shout out to Tennessee for getting to him and how they worked through their process. And they wound up on a guy who's, like Lucas just said, if they just win the ones they're supposed to win for the rest of the season, it would be hard to keep them out of the playoff. And after what he inherited and an NCAA investigation hanging over, which, by the way, they're filed for a extension on that to make sure that nothing would affect playing in the postseason this year. Is that the easiest way to say it? They filed, what's the word, Lucas?
The notice of allegations?
Yes, they
asked for...
not an extension,
Yeah, we're both stuck.
A review.
No, they basically ask for an extension, almost like on
Of
your
time,
taxes.
An extension of time.
Yes, an extension of time before all this is settled, meaning the decision won't come this year. So whatever happens, they'll get to play in the postseason this year, no matter what that looks like. And somebody's going to tell us
I
what.
don't think they're gonna get suspended for no.
It's an extension. Yeah.
Okay.
They got an extension from the NCAA from the Jeremy Pruitt recruiting scandal.
All right. Butch Spyridon said to join us next. We've got some questions on Blaine and Mickey. We've got some questions of our own. If you want to tweet us a question, you can do so at Blaine and Mickey. We'll get some answers about this Titans new stadium next, right here on Blaine and Mickey.
Nope.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. A lot of people talking about this new Titan Stadium. So we thought, gosh, who knows all the things about things like that? It's Butch Spyridon, and he knows all this stuff. He is the president and CEO of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation, and he joins us now on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Butch, how in the world are you doing? Not busy at all these days, I would assume.
Nothing going on at all. I'm just enjoying the leaves turning.
I was blown away when I was turning through those pictures of the renderings and the video that the Titans released. What's been the reaction overall from people who have seen what this thing can and will look like someday?
You know, outside of the folks, I think, that made up their mind a decade ago to oppose anything, the response has been pretty rewarding, overwhelming. I think people are shocked at how good and kind of unique it looks, feels, and seems like it's going to function.
For like the feedback that you're getting, what seems to be the biggest misconception about the stadium? Like, of all the things people come to you and go, well, if this happens, you go, that's not even real. That's not a thing. Let me tell you the real thing. What's the biggest misconception, Butch?
Well, in the short run, maybe all the hullabaloo over the size. Nobody's worried about that on our end in terms of recruiting big events. We can add some seats when we need to for something big, and that's a good, solid number to be working on. And then on the kind of community side, I guess when you continue to hear, and there was an op-ed or something, and, you know, don't listen to, oh, the money doesn't exist. We could use this money. Well, that's just absolutely false. The state's not going to give Nashville $500 million for just anything. The hotel community and our office are not going to advocate to increase the tax when there's no benefit. And the Titans are generating their own revenue that if you don't build it, that revenue doesn't get generated. So those that sit there and say we could use this money for something else, just wrong, because it doesn't exist and would not exist. So let's use some money we can get to generate other sales tax and other property tax to fund the city and the state budgetary needs.
You mentioned the size of the stadium. I've had 100 people ask me, so it's only 60,000, so that means we can't get the Super Bowl, right? There's no way they would build this thing at this capacity, I would think, unless they had assurances from the NFL that, yes, you will get a Super Bowl.
Well, you have good intuition. And, yeah, at some point, you would hope people would go, the Titans are not stupid. We're not stupid. We wouldn't sit around and support something that didn't achieve all of the dreams we all have. So, yeah, you're absolutely correct. We'll get there. We're not going to cut ourselves out over a few thousand seats.
There you go. Butch Spyridon, President and CEO, Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation, right here with us on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, but since we're just talking about the seating, not necessarily that, but what other big events do you think that possibly be on the docket besides the Super Bowl that you think would come to Nashville?
Well, I can tell you even before we got this far along, we reached out to WWE about WrestleMania. And admittedly, I'm not the biggest fan, or I don't completely understand it, but I know how big it is, and I know it's a week-long event, and they're interested. They're open to talking to us. We've certainly reached out to the SEC for their input, support, vision to recruit other things, and they have been great in saying, you're doing the right thing. Nashville is a desirable, in-demand destination, and this will work. And I have reached out to both Live Nation and AEG about the indoor, stadium, especially winter concert tour, and they're gushing at what they can do on top of what they're already doing today. And I think probably the only group we haven't talked to yet would be the NCAA on Final Four, but we have time to do that, and we absolutely will reach out to them. But the excitement abounds in the event world because we're that city that everybody wants to come to, and we just need to give them the capacity to make a decision to come here.
Well, with Butch Spyridon, President CEO of Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau or Corporation, I guess if you want to kind of explain it, dumb it down for how this actually affects the taxpayers and then who actually owns the stadium. I can go into 3 or 4, revenues here. And then, and how does that even affect Bridgestone and them getting events, and does it just play hand in hand together?
Well, fortunately, I'll go backwards. The Titans and the Preds have been getting along great.
Mm-hmm.
I see them, and WrestleMania is a good example. WrestleMania would need the arena for 2 nights and the stadium for 1 night. So there's an example how both benefit. So I don't see it as one cannibalizing the other at all.
Okay.
The sizes are dramatically different and the needs are different. So I think that's a moot point. I kind of want to answer your question. I'm going to get you to repeat it. Just on the misunderstanding of Nashville. So today, just with nothing else, the city owes the Titans $30 million for capital improvements that have been done that are the city's obligation that the Titans went ahead and did and said, don't worry, we won't bill you yet. But that's $30 million that's sitting there. Then there's another $30 million in debt service that's still out there. So without doing anything else, city's on the hook for $60 million out of the general fund. And then, according to the contract, the city also has the obligation to keep the stadium in first-class condition. We can argue what that is, but on the low end, it's $500 million, and on the high end, it's $1 billion. So the city general fund is on the hook. This deal forgives the $30 million in capital improvements. The Titans will pay off the debt. The Titans will take on all future improvements, and the Titans will guarantee any overruns. And everything's funded by dedicated revenue streams. So the city no longer has this general fund obligation hanging over its head. And then lastly, it's going to generate property tax over there that is generating zero today. It's Sports Authority, real estate, it's a bunch of parking lots, and giving the city nothing back. So the city will get off the hook and start generating money that can pay for schools and roads and other things. So I've never seen a deal this clean for a city. And yeah, it's expensive. I'm not naive, but the revenue streams take care of that. And so they're either self-generated or put on the hotel visitor community. And, we made a collective decision. We're okay with that.
Well, with Butch Spyridon, President CEO of Nashville Convention, I guess one more to add to that is, we always get this question, and I mean, we haven't even started the stadium, but they're talking about when we're going through this process of building it and then let alone when you're finished, how will the parking be set up, or will you have to, ride and share, or there be other avenues, not only through the process, but also after the process of the stadium?
I think regardless, obviously during the process, it's going to be messy. Mm-hmm. And because I was involved in this the first time really early, I got a really good parking space. So I'm about to get myself punished. And I don't like it. But the payoff on the other side, it's like, what am I complaining about if I have to walk a little bit or park in a parking garage? So admittedly, it will be messy and inconvenient during construction. And when it's done, there'll be more parking garages than there will be parking lots. And that's something we have to get used to. But then I would say maybe we go in the stadium a little bit earlier for a change, and we're not the last people to sit down, after kickoff. Nashville's notoriously late. Maybe this begins to change our attendance habits a little bit.
And what could change that? Is there going to be any real estate or anything for entertaining the fans beforehand, like some restaurants or things to do to kind of motivate them to get there earlier?
Absolutely. I think obviously not when the stadium's done,
Uh-huh.
but over the course of the next, say, 4 or 5 years combined, retail, green space, entertainment, outdoor patios. It's going to become a gathering place easily, probably with a lot of outdoor screens to watch the pregame activity from around the league. No reason to not come early, no reason to not be able to eat and drink, and certainly every reason to go in early. So I'm okay with it. I'm going to be inconvenienced as much as anybody.
Well, the president and CEO Butch Spyridon of Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation.
Butch, a lot of people have brought up the World Cup. Just for an example, Nashville was unable to secure a bid for this most recent incarnation of the World Cup. Let me ask you, where would this stadium and this development and this what's going to happen on the East Bank, where would it put Nashville among U.S. sports and entertainment destinations?
Well, I think it would answer the question. We would have gotten a game had we been able to definitively define either which stadium or what shape the stadium would be in. So the confusion we caused them with uncertainty was the thing that pushed us. I think we fall in the top 5. Vegas, New Orleans, maybe Miami. We have the best package, the best footprint, the walkability, better than any of them. Even talking to the commissioner over the weekend, he made the comment Saturday night. He goes, "I've never seen Broadway from this angle, from 5th and Broad." And then he was like, "Is it always like this?" And I'm like, "Well, at least 3, if not 4 nights a week, year round. Yeah, it's this active." So he drank more of our Kool-Aid in terms of hotels, restaurants, entertainment, walkability to the stadium. It's an incredible dream come true footprint to chase these kinds of things. And I hope our problem becomes shoehorning all of them in and then turn into the private sector. We're going to have to raise some money. We're going to have to change our thought process on chasing big events, because Super Bowls and Final Fours, they're expensive, but they're funded from the business community. So I think we'll get there.
How will this spur things forward towards more and better public transit?
I'm still trying to understand that, but number one is developing the neighborhood from Oracle to the interstate from the ground up with mass transit and transportation in mind. That's a lot easier to do than coming in and either trying to dig a tunnel or put rails down the middle of Broadway or build a bus rapid lane. All of that is hard because you're displacing existing either retail, residential, or traffic. So to do this with transit in mind, it becomes a model for how we expand it out and put some relief on downtown. I mean, I'm the first to say we can't cram much more. We got 10 pounds going into this 5-pound downtown bag right now. And so the city needs to hop across the river.
Butch Spyridon, our guest, president and CEO of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation, talking about the Titans' new stadium and East Bank development downtown.
Yeah, Butch, I guess I always get this. I don't even know if you know the answer to this, and that is grass or turf, and I'm assuming it has to be turf because people are always feeling, I guess maybe you can do more events, or will it keep you from getting the World Cup if you don't have natural grass or grass? What do you think?
Well, it's turf, so you're correct. The answer on soccer, and it would have to be a big enough game, so the field and the dimensions will be large enough for soccer. I hope soccer comes to a turf point sooner than later. But the alternative is we would come in, bring in dirt, bring in sod, raise the field, and they would play on natural grass, and it's just a little more expensive. So we were going to raise $20 million if we had been awarded the cup, and with this stadium, we probably got to raise $25 million. But that's part of our job.
Yeah, we're on with Butch Spyridon. I guess a lot of people also are asking about PSL, the PSL holders and how would that work in transition. I know a little bit about that. I think it just kind of converts over. You get first dibs. Do you know a little bit about that?
Yeah, they really haven't put a lot into those details yet. I'm making an assumption that if you're a current PSL holder, and same thing, I'm one of those. So when I say that stuff, because a lot of people go, oh, well, it doesn't affect you. Well, no, I pay taxes in Davidson County, so I care. I have a parking pass, so I care where I park. And I bought a PSL, so I want my value. I would assume, at worst, you get some kind of first option as a current holder, and at best, you get some kind of discount for your continued loyalty. I would hope, and if the Titans are listening right now, I hope you're listening. I want a discount. But yeah, it's going to be expensive, but I don't think we know how expensive yet, and the market will dictate.
Has this deal, you talked about the deal and how great it is for both sides here. Are there any comparable deals in the NFL or anywhere else that is kind of somewhat on the same plane as that?
I haven't seen one that had this kind of state contribution in modern times. So I think it's pretty unique in its own right. It's certainly creative. In talking to a couple folks from the NFL over the weekend, they were impressed with the deal and the creativity and all the pieces that creatively get it done and don't increase taxes anywhere. And I think that's a really important message, other than the hotel tax. I know somebody will shoot at me, but we're not increasing taxes on our local citizens.
Well, the pictures came out yesterday and some of the renderings of what the stadium will look like. I know none of that is all guaranteed, but did you have an idea what the stadium was going to look like? And, what were some of those meetings like if you were sitting down there talking about what the stadium possibly could look like?
A couple of things, and, a little bit, not a ton on my part, but I had seen it a few times. First, I'm more impressed with when you think about developing the acreage around it. It's being designed so it fits in the neighborhood and doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. So I think that was really smart. When it's all done, it'll look like it's been there forever. And then I think the multi-function side, community space, the outdoor terraces to pay tribute to Nashvilleians seem to really like the outdoor patios. We're going to have that. There'll be standing room. And then kind of stealing a page from the Preds and Lexus Lounge, a place where you can have access to the team coming in and out of the locker room to make you feel more a part. You're competing with a 70-inch flat screen TV at home. So it better be good entertainment.
Butch, we know that this is a super busy time. Thank you for spending some of it with us, and let's catch up again soon.
Anytime. Thank you, guys. And if I can leave, I'll ask you guys and your listeners, if you like the idea, speak up. The opponents will talk long and loud and make up things. And the proponents are typically quiet. We can't be quiet if we want to up our game in this arena, pun intended.
There you go. Fully intended pun there from Butch. Hey, thank you so much for the time today, sir. We'll definitely talk again soon.
Great. Thank y'all.
See you, Butch. Thanks.
Yes, sir. If anybody's plugged in this city, it is that guy, Butch Spyridon, president and CEO of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation. All right, when we come back, we do have open lines. If you want to sound off on anything that you've heard, you can do that. 615-737-1045. Also this, I was asking Blaine about a Vols player yesterday and how his draft position might be affected by how well he's performing. You see where we're going here? Got some news on that when we come back. Vol fans, you'll be interested in this. Also, NFL fans.
Yeah, he fast.
Blaine and Mickey 1045 The Zone again. Appreciate Butch Spyridon for joining us. Again, I've always said, like, just what we do in the commercials should be its own show or podcast. But I was asking you yesterday, Blaine, about Jalen Hyatt, the season that he's having, and he seems to be on a lot of people's radar. And I said, what do you think this means for his draft position? And we had a discussion about it. And Matt Miller, who is literally at NFL draft.
What did I say?
You said his draft stock is rising, but there are lots of things you like about his game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought what was comparable? I compared him to what's the guy you love with this deep speed protection? William Fuller. That's who I compared him to.
Fuller? Yeah.
Will Fuller, which then puts him in first, second round. Because you can't teach speed. You can teach somebody how to run routes.
Yes.
You could teach them how to do it. And then he did it against people can underrate value if they want to, but it's going to carry a lot of weight. It doesn't matter if they got any first rounders in that secondary. It's Alabama secondary. So that's going to carry weight. And then how he just dominated them, they didn't have an answer for him. That's going to carry a lot of weight. So he probably was a mid-round guy. He might even been on the radar just because he's still a young player. But if he's for sure middle round, and now I think he catapulted at least second round guy. Just on that's that performance and his speed.
And this is just us talking in the hallway. So today, the first thing I see on ESPN.com, Matt Miller at NFL Draft Scout on Twitter talking about Hyatt broke out last weekend against Alabama. He's quietly been Tennessee's go-to target in the passing game with Cedric Tillman sidelined. And then he goes through some of his numbers, which were eye-popping. He said, it's not just the numbers, it's how Hyatt is doing it. He showed a power to his game on Saturday, whereas before it was more flash. He's proving to be a well-rounded receiver who could start hearing top two, which is exactly what you said yesterday, top two round talk soon. Boy, what an ascension for this guy.
Well, that's what happens when you're in this offense. You're a track guy who also is a really good football player. Get him in the open field, well-designed plays. And even with Tillman being out, that's kind of helped him be a little more on the focal point because of his dynamic speed, vertical speed. So, yeah. So, yeah, he's definitely catapulting up there. I'm sure there'll be some naysayers and have all these things when they start breaking you down. But at the end of the day, it's almost impossible they didn't go in the first two rounds just off of that performance.
Sure. Well, like you said, you can't teach speed. You either got it or you don't. Had a couple of phone calls on the line. Brandon is still on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. He said he has a segment idea.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
What's going on? You gonna help us out, man?
Man, I called on Monday, and I was wanting to talk to you, Blaine, because like you got a really good realist personality, and I had an idea. And I don't know what you guys – I just want to hear you guys, like, spitball with each other about this. But my idea is for, like, a segment for you, Blaine, on Mondays after, you know, all the games have proceeded to have a segment to where you basically I even came up with a name of it. And the name of it's called Hitman's Hits. And basically it's like you analyzing and critiquing, like, the best, like, top 5 hits, or not even just hits in general, but like
big plays.
It could be offense, it could be defense, it could be like just something that just was mesmerizing to you that was just like, I've got to talk about it. I want to analyze it. I want to let people know, like Kyle Brandt did the other day with the offensive line and Derrick Henry. So I just wanted to talk to you and let you see what you guys thought about that, man.
Cool.
Brandon, that's a heck of an idea, man.
Yeah.
It's like you work in radio or something.
I know, right?
It's all about segments.
It's a little similar to what we did yesterday when our crack staff came up with that segment. But yeah, I kind of like that idea. We'll do something similar to that. Because something similar to that was like when I said Jason McCourty has that ooh wee segment, and I saw it again today. You know, so that was just hilarious to me. So I had to text him and say, ooh wee. I loved all of those because he kind of goes down the defensive line row or defensive guys, and then always just a few, offensive players. So it's kind of something, defensively, really, because, nobody talks about all the great plays defensive guys make. That's not sexy enough.
So you could be the voice of those guys. JT used to call it on Mondays, our old producer, JT. Shout out to JT out there. Okay. He used to call it Blaine's Breakdown.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because, we open the show on Monday, and you got all your notes, and usually you'll start unloading some of those notes. He always said, that's Blaine's Breakdown, which I like that.
Yeah. Well, that's a little different than finding, like, highlight plays and break those down. Like, those are special plays. That is pretty cool because I do get excited about, because TV only gives you so much about what a player looked like on a certain play, but man, sometimes it's just like unreal. Like you turn on the tape, like Big Jeff would have been on there just for his hustle plays on running down the field and making plays. I mean, that is remarkable. I mean, it is, and then to do it just so consistently over and over again, and that it really is inspiring just to your own teammates when you see a guy like that on tape. Like his engine does not stop, and man, that's passion, that's 1-2, that's leadership, and not only that, he has great talent. So usually, typically, those guys rise to the cream of the crop and stand out amongst all the other players. But you got to have that kind of ability and that kind of engine. I would say I had all those things, but I'd have top-notch ability for my position. But I had all those qualities, those other things, and that can make you a really good player. And once you have all those things, man, the sky's the limit for Big Jeff. I mean, man, we all know, but, man, he can be, like, talked around the league literally almost like Aaron Donald. I mean, that's hard to say, but he can get there. And actually, I think he can surpass it. I just don't know if he can do it as consistently as Aaron Donald did it, and he's still doing it, really. And what has it been, 8, 9 years? I mean, he's done it since he's got in the league, really. And that's hard to do. So he's got a long way, but to even say that, it's just like, that's where he's at. He's just that special. So they took one risk, JR, and that one was well worth it on an injured guy who got, tore his ACL while he was training for the combine.
They love value, and he's turned out to be the greatest value that they've ever found.
He would have been a top 5 pick. He was that kind of talent. I had no idea. I'm not watching the D-line. That wasn't safe for me. I wasn't watching no D-lineman. I thought he was going to be real good, his first-round pick. Yeah, man, that one there, that's a ringer right there. You don't let those guys get away, and I hope they make sure they do what they're supposed to with that kind of talent. Remember, I said this and people laughed at me. I said I'd keep Jeffrey Simmons over A.J. Brown if I had to make a choice. Generational like player, man. This guy, you eventually will find another A.J. Brown. Eventually, you're not gonna find another Jeffrey Simmons.
Well, let's find our break here. Then we'll find hour number 2. Jordan Dajani is going to join us in a little over 20 minutes. Headlines when we come back. We'll hear from, I know we've got some sound from Ryan Tannehill. He walked out today, spoke to the press. Did he have a boot on? Did he not have a boot on? We'll tell you all about it next. Blaine and Mickey 1045 The Zone. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday to you. We are halfway through the week, and we're halfway through the week show. It's the Nexus of the Sports Talk universe. Lucas, I know you got a little bit of this Ryan Tannehill audio because I heard it earlier. Let's hear you got the opening statement from Tannehill, him just kind of saying where he is, and then we'll go to our show physician, Dr. Blaine Bishop, to get his thoughts on Tannehill and what we saw on his feet or not on his feet.
Me playing to be a doctor.
Here is Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, first couple minutes of the exchange today at St. Thomas Sports Park.
First, how are you feeling after a couple days of treatment?
Better than I was after the game. So, heading in the right direction. Got a little ways to go, but been better, been worse, and heading in the right direction.
What's the process in, kind of doing the icing, and what's that been like the last couple days?
Yeah, it's a process for sure. Just doing everything I can in the training room here, at home, all types of treatments. So, just trying to stay on top of it as much as I can and give my body the best chance to heal.
Is it a regular ankle sprain, an ankle sprain?
It's an ankle sprain. I'll leave it at that.
Will it be more of a pain tolerance thing than a structural thing when it comes down to it, do you think?
I don't know. We'll see.
You seem to think after the
You guys see where this is going, right? So you can keep trying, or we can go on to Houston, whatever you guys want to do. Do what?
Did you dance at your daughter's wedding?
She's 4, so we're good.
You guys seem to think after the game, Ryan, that there was going to be a challenge that this week. You seem to kind of have an idea, even at that point. Is it about kind of what you expected?
What are you talking about, the ankle?
Yeah, in terms of, like, after the game, you sort of felt like that way. Is it about where you kind of...
I don't know what I expected. I didn't plan to feel too good after the game, and I didn't feel too good, and we're heading in the right direction.
What's the challenge? Mike said you'd be limited today. What's the challenge for you if you are, in fact, limited throughout the week and be able to play Sunday and play well?
Just staying on top of things mentally. Just making sure I'm taking all the reps I can mentally. Obviously, I'm not physically getting as many reps as I usually do. So making sure mentally I'm going through everything, communicating with the guys. We just had a walkthrough out there just trying to communicate with the guys and make sure we're all on the same page as we install this game plan and start getting ready to go.
With your health situation,
thinking about helping Malik get ready while you're trying to see if you heal and everything. You know what I mean? Like as you go through the week, you're taking mental reps for a game plan, but are you also in the mindset of trying to help him get ready in case?
Yeah, I'm trying to help in every way possible, whether it's Malik or the tight ends or O-line, whoever the case may be. I'm just communicating, make sure, like I said, we're all on the same page and on top of this game plan as we move into the game.
It's Ryan Tannehill from earlier today. Are you guys just going to keep asking about that? Can we talk about Houston? He walked out. Jim White and Teron Davenport both had I guess they were sitting on that side of the podium where he came out of the door. He had just either an ankle sock or nothing you could really see on his left foot as he walked out. But he did have a black sock kind of up his calf a little way on his right ankle, the injured ankle. And you and I kind of took a picture of the video and blew up the picture to see if we could see tape or anything. But I think you noticed a Jordan logo to you. It looked like a sock of some kind.
Yeah, I just saw a sock, and I don't know if he had, something else or tape or whatever underneath it, because the other ankle didn't have anything, or he had lower socks where you couldn't see him within his shoe. So, I think the more of signs is just he looked like he was walking as close to normal as you would think at this point in time. So I think that's a great sign that he would have a great shot of playing on Sunday. So we're talking about, 3 nights in? Now Sunday night, Saturday night, Monday night, and then Tuesday night. So, yes, I think it made me feel a lot better. If you're walking on Wednesday, I think you're definitely going to probably play on Sunday. Yeah, I really, yeah. He may not practice another day, but, and I don't know the work behind Tannehill on him missing games and then not practicing all week, kind of like the McNair deal. But I'm sure he's got some type of that mechanism. He doesn't have to practice every day. And then, as the quarterback, you want to make sure you really communicate as though you're going to be playing and where you're going to throw the ball, what you see they're doing, making sure you're on the same page, especially now also with the new receiver too, Conley. And I'm sure they'll use him for a little, information resource too, a little bit. Being that he was on the Texans practice squad and a solid player. So, if he picks up to whatever playing one side or the other, X, Y, Z, whatever he's going to be playing, I would want him out there, to be honest. I really do. He's nothing special, but he is a really good player. He's a solid player in this league. And on this team, as long as he's blocking a receiver, he's going to get his shots at some passes. He's going to get 2 passes. Everybody's probably going to get 2 passes.
Well, they're just out of people. They're just out of people. So I saw a bunch of people poo-pooing.
Because I think he's really more a replacement for Burks to me.
Yeah.
I know everybody's saying Phillips because that's the most recent deal. But the reason why I say no, because his game is not like Phillips.
Sure.
His game is like Burks. As far as he's the athlete guy. He can run routes, he can jump, all those things. So he's more so that to me than anything else. But they may utilize him in the slot, but I don't think so. I think Woods then goes to the slot.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like he could do some damage in there.
I like Woods in the slot. He's done well there.
A lot of people tried to kind of poo-poo the Conley signing, like, oh, boy, another guy who'll be here 3 weeks. I agree with you. They don't have a choice. I think he's going to play, and he has been a solid pro. He's like Andrew Adams. Go look at his stats. The guy's played a long time in the league. He started a bunch of games. I think he played 16 games for the Texans last year. He started 10. I'm talking about Conley again here. The guy started a bunch of games in the NFL. He has been a solid professional receiver. Now, is he a number 1? No. Is he a number 2? Maybe his best year, maybe he was, and maybe it's not that. But my gosh, I mean, it's a solid number 3 for other teams on this team is going to get some unbelievable opportunities just based on who's left to catch passes.
Whatever. His average over the last 7 years is 13 yards a catch. So he's got over 2,800 yards receiving. He's a solid player. He's 4 years with the Chiefs, 2 with the Jags, and 2 with the Texans. So he's on year, this is 8th year. So, yeah, he's a solid player. Nothing spectacular, but this guy's a quality player. I'm stunned that he was on the practice squad, to be honest. Like, he should be on somebody's roster as their number 3. Easy on a team that throws the ball.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think we got a good find here. He's tall, he's rangy, he's athletic, and he's fast. So he kind of checks the boxes on a lot of different things. So, yeah, he may not get a lot of balls or may not even dress, but I think eventually he will be part of this equation and will help the Titans.
Let's say Tannehill or any quarterback, they're going through this injury thing. They're not sure if they're going to play. They're going to stay off their foot as much as they can. You were on the team with Steve McNair, and you referenced him. There were weeks, I guess, he didn't practice, but he would play on Sunday. What is that like? Is he kind of posted up in a specific spot in the huddle behind the play, and he's communicating with everybody? But in this case, the number 2, who is Malik Willis, he's taking the snaps and running things, but Tannehill would just be in a specific spot, watching everything, communicating, hey, this is what I'm looking for on this play, but the other guy just runs the play?
No. First of all, when you're injured, you're not part of the equation. So let's just get that out there. So when I say you're not part of the equation, you're in the huddle, you're standing back with the line where everybody else who's not in, and you're knowing all the play calls because you have the sheet there, the play sheet, and then you're watching how players are running the routes, where you want them to be, and then when you come back to the huddle, most likely those corrections are things that you want to talk about. He may do some things immediately because they rotate everybody in, but really in the film is where you really want to have that communication because then you're going to come back out and have even more communication. Now, I don't know if the receivers and the quarterbacks talk a lot in their meetings or do they just do separate meetings, but this will be a week that I would make sure we're together at least a little bit, and then we separate to go into the quarterback room. So, no, when you're injured, the player that's injured that's probably going to play is not now all of a sudden it revolves around him. It really revolves around the people who actually may play. And you have to take it upon yourself as a leader to do all the things. I didn't play for a whole half of a season. They just told me, being a defensive guy, just go back in the back and sit on the chair and watch the defense. And then I would talk to people in the meeting room. That's all I did. That happened.
You just take notes.
Yeah, and then I would go talk to the players because ultimately it's the way I'm going to communicate what I like to do in certain situations that maybe the coaches may see a little bit differently, that I have flexibility on calling the plays. So I think that's more so that than anything else because you're putting in the game plan. You can't change the game plan as a player. You just got to make sure you're understanding the little nuances within a play against this defense where you're looking as a quarterback to receiver. So he's not like heavily involved. To me, he should have on a boot. I would have had him on a boot today, but that can cause some stiffness. I'm not a doctor, but Because if he's out on the field, I don't want to. You just stand and sometimes can make swelling. So I would if I'm having him stand, he's got to be in the boot to relieve pressure. If it was me, or he has to sit down in a chair where your foot is elevated. That is kind of what I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure he can be ready. At the same time, I want him to be he's been in this league long enough. He understands how to prepare mentally, but you got to make sure you're on the same page with other guys too.
Is that what kind of made you think, like, he may be further along? This guy, he may play when he walked out today in a sneaker.
Yeah, that's what I said. So he's
spare sneakers.
Yeah, so that looks like he's way ahead of schedule, and like he's gonna be out there standing, and he's gonna be making some adjustments and telling guys what they were doing wrong when they come back, in the back line there, and they're not in. Yeah, but it's also good too. Woodside and Malik can do some reps just in case, because you just never know. Or if something slips up and he steps on someone's foot and it gets tweaked, and then it makes it worse. So yeah, it also helps them with preparation. Nothing like preparing when you're a young player than getting the reps. They can talk about you've been doing scout team and all that, and you're running the plays. That's the other team's play, but you just call it as your play. Mm-hmm. That's not the same.
Well, we'll certainly keep you posted as we hear things and let you know. I'm going to let you know what the practice reports say, and we'll let you know everything that we know as we find things out about Tannehill as the Titans prepare for this game on the road against Houston. By the way, they split the games against Houston. They lost to them in one game and won by 3 in the other, held on for dear life to win the last game of the season to get their 12th win against Houston. That one was 28-25. That was the Danny Amendola game. Most of us will never forget that. Most of us will never forget this either. Jordan Dajani always joins us on Wednesday afternoon. He will join us next with a look around the NFL. Blaine to make you 104.5 The Zone. It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. Time for Jordan Dajani to join us via the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Jordan, good bumping into you, of course, in the bathroom at the Titans game on Sunday.
Is that where y'all bumped into each other?
Yes, just a nice man I met in the restroom.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Nice bumping to you in the restroom as well. Always great connecting with you in the press box.
Oh, man, he should have came and got me, man. He said you were there. I was like, where? He said,
I would have loved to, man.
I said, I'm not going to the bathroom, though, man.
Yeah, you got to meet me in the bathroom. I was watching you on the field, going live on Instagram when the Titans were introducing all the former players. That was very cool to see.
Oh, man, that was a great weekend. It was the best by far alumni weekend in my eyes, man. Just well done by Amy, Kenneth, and everybody on the ground level. Tina Tuggle and everybody involved in the administrative role and helping that get done. I'm sure they are exhausted and are still recovering, like a lot of the players.
That's awesome, man.
Well, cool. Well, what was exciting for you this past weekend as far as games that kind of stood out to you, or a play or a team or what have you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I actually do a column for CBSSports.com on the 5 wildest things that Jordan saw from the week, from the Sunday. Okay. And there was a lot of things to talk about. I mean, it's wild that the Giants won on a goal line stand. It's wild that 2 former XFL quarterbacks and Taylor Heineke and P.J. Walker took down NFL legends Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers on the same Sunday. There were a lot of crazy plays. The NFL regular season is in full force. We're seeing upsets. We're seeing MVP races. We're seeing injuries. We're seeing rookie running backs pop out of the woodworks like Dameon Pierce and Kenneth Walker. We had a crazy Sunday last week.
No doubt about it, let alone, I know it's now been confirmed, the referee was not trying to get an autograph from Evans there in the tunnel. I think he was trying to get his number for a golf tournament. They were getting it for someone else, A&M, one of the referees, A&M golf tournament, I think. That's what it was.
Yeah, I would have included that in my column if I saw it before Monday, but that was a really wild story because it definitely looked like those 2 officials were getting the autograph from Mike Evans. But, of course, apparently, as you mentioned, it was to connect Mike Evans with a golf pro, since both of those guys with the Texas A&M. Definitely a weird moment to come out of last week.
Do you view that, I guess, exchange, if it was an autograph, I know it's against the NFL rules, but do you see something wrong with that if it was, or what's your viewpoint on it?
Oh, I think it'd be terrible. I think it'd be dumb for me as a reporter to ask for an autograph or anything like that when I'm at the stadium working. You know, I kind of look down on that, especially when you're an official, right? I mean, you are the independent party for a professional sporting event that is, you know, supposed to hold the rules to standard and make sure that the correct outcome is decided upon on the field. So if you're showing any kind of favoritism or anything like that and looking at these athletes, you know, as more than just players in a game that you are trying to conduct, obviously there's something wrong with that.
Well, you would think Bill Belichick would also know how to handle his quarterbacks, right? Because I don't know if it's getting a little shaky. Belichick is showing, as I said before, when he got the divorce, we're going to see from Tom Brady who was really the mastermind behind all of New England's success. And my man, Buddy Bill, is showing that he may be just an average coach without Tom Brady, because I don't know why he was rotating these quarterbacks like this, or was that planned? What do you think?
Yeah, so Bill Belichick said it was planned, but at the same time, some of his players who were not quarterbacks said that they were surprised by the move. So that was pretty interesting in my opinion. According to the quarterbacks, though, they did know that both of them would be playing on Monday night. And here's what I'll say about the handling of the quarterback situation, at least moving forward. Bill Belichick, I think it's very possible, knows exactly what he's going to do this week. But he's not going to tell the media. He's not going to tell the opponent where his mindset is right now with the quarterback that he's going to start. He's going to make the opponent obviously prepare for both sides, whether it be Bailey Zappi or Mac Jones. And, in fact, we already saw this. If you remember, at halftime on Monday night, Bill Belichick told ESPN sideline reporter, I forget her name, he said that, Mac Jones is going back in the game. And sure enough, Mac Jones did not return to the game. So I think it's very possible that Bill Belichick knows exactly what direction he's going to go into. He just doesn't want to let reporters know about it.
Well, Bill, always trying to pull the wool under our shoes there. We're on with Jordan Dajani, NFL writer for CBS Sports. And let's just continue to talk about the quarterbacks. And Justin Fields, man, was I impressed what I saw out of him. It seems like he's finally getting it all together. I want to see if he now can do it consistently, running the football as well as throwing the football down the field. What were your thoughts when you saw him? Because now I see franchise quarterback, and, hey, man, they need to build around him and make everything else a little bit better for him and easier.
Blaine, man, I was shocked because
Yeah,
the Bears had a long time to prepare for this matchup, right? They played on the Thursday night in the week previous, so they had a long time until Monday night. And it looked like they redid their entire offense, right? This wasn't a Justin Fields performance. This wasn't a David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert performance. This performance, I was very impressed with the offensive play calling, the game plan going into this. It looked like they redid everything when it came to the offensive side of the ball. That was my takeaway. They were doing more quarterback runs that were game planned, right? I think Justin Fields carried 14 times, which was just up there with David Montgomery, who rushed 15 times. The passing game looked completely different as well. And the biggest thing that I noticed was that they did better in the red zone because that has been their Achilles heel all season. They may have a couple more wins if they knew what they were doing in the red zone. This Bears offense just in general looked a lot better against New England. And to your point, I was always a Justin Fields truther. I feel like he needs more support around him, not only from the coaching staff, but also the players around him. And then we'll be able to see more shades of him as a franchise quarterback. And finally, we got a little peek of that on Monday night against New England.
We got another peek of Aaron Rodgers not too happy with his receivers, or is it him too as well? Because, man, it doesn't look good right now for him. Him or TB12.
No, yeah, exactly. Both of these NFL legends are struggling. I actually watched that Commanders-Packers game yesterday, I believe it was, and you know, there was a lot of pivotal points in that matchup that kind of determined the outcome. I was looking, of course, at the wide receiving core for Green Bay. That's been the main headline for this lackluster offense all season. And I think Romeo Doubs, the rookie phenom from training camp, he dropped or missed catching on all four of his targets. Alan Lazard was okay, didn't do too much. Christian Watson didn't play. Aaron Jones really had to hold up that end of the bargain in the receiving game. And then I think the Packers went 0 for 6, I believe, on third down in a game. This was the first time in Aaron Rodgers' career, I believe, where he did not convert a single third down against this Washington Commanders defense. In fact, the Panthers haven't gone a game without converting a third down since 1999, I believe. So that shows you how this Packers offense has sunk to an all-time low. But with that being said, let's not bury them just yet. We know Aaron Rodgers is an expert when it comes to some of these mid-season turnarounds, although in my opinion, this test is going to be tougher than other campaigns in years past. So we'll see what this team is going to do, but they have a really tough test against the Buffalo Bills coming up this week, and Aaron Rodgers said that this might be the best thing for them because they're about to figure out what this team is really about.
Yeah, I'm a little bit different on that. I love Aaron Rodgers as a player, but I really thought he made some missteps in maybe just verbally, maybe not chastising, but talking about the things with the receivers and everything else. This is a different world, different age, and where this, group of players is, you got to treat them a little bit differently to me. And that's why I was asking those leadership deals, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. And I think now he's trying to backtrack a little bit because you try to publicly, talk about your teammates, not naming names, but we all know the positions. You're naming positions. And then you're talking about we need to study and maybe give other people opportunities. To me, those are things that the head coach says, not the quarterback. So it's almost like he's running the organization, and that is not where you want your quarterback to be publicly and saying those kind of things, basically telling them they need to play some other guys who need opportunity because the other guys aren't getting it done. And that's a misstep in my mind.
I would agree with you. And, I think we've seen both positive and negative comments come out of Aaron Rodgers' mouth over the past couple of weeks. And obviously the negative stuff is really what's going to make the headlines, and naturally it has. I think I saw it on Fox Sports TV this morning. But, here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers is obviously an extension of the coach for this team when he's on the field, and also just in terms of the program in general, because he knows he doesn't have many years left. And I think he's made it very clear over the past couple of seasons on and off the field that he's going to speak his mind because this man's on a mission. But, yeah, to your point, when it comes to some of these young wide receivers who are trying to find their footing at the next level in the National Football League, a comment coming from the GOAT's mouth like that is obviously something that could, stick in your mind. But as I said, Aaron Rodgers knows what he's doing. He's had these midseason turnarounds before, and I'm excited to see what this team is going to do to look differently moving forward.
There you have it. Jordan Dajani, NFL writer for CBS Sports.
Jordan, can you believe what all is going on with the Colts since the Titans did what they did on Sunday? Quarterback's done. I mean, is everybody done there after this year?
Oh my gosh, the Tennessee Titans are being tried for murder with what they did with the Indianapolis Colts. Unbelievable. I mean, let me say this. I was very surprised that the Colts are benching Matt Ryan, but I'm not surprised by their confidence level in Sam Ehlinger. This is a guy who, by all reports, has brought a lot of juice to this offense just in practice. And if you look back at the preseason, I think he completed 24 of 29 passes for 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I think he rushed for a touchdown as well. So they're going to give this kid a shot because Matt Ryan's having trouble dealing with the pressure that's in his face every single down, as we saw against the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. So I'm interested to see what Sam Ehlinger can do in terms of his mobility and how this offense may game plan differently now that he's the starting quarterback. But here's the other thing. Frank Reich is in his 5th season as head coach of the Colts, I believe, and I think Ehlinger is going to be his 7th starting quarterback. So maybe it's time we start talking about Frank Reich and his job security.
Well, if I was Titans fans, I wouldn't want him to go anywhere because it seems like it's like Titans fans rooting for Urban Meyer to get fired just because they didn't like Urban Meyer. You should have wanted him to stay in Jacksonville forever, except a dumpster fire when one is just handed to you.
Exactly, yeah. If you're a Titans fan, you're rooting for this. You're rooting for all this discombobulation that's occurring with the Colts and what Frank Reich's been unable to do over the past couple seasons.
Do you think we see any more big trades before the trade deadline? Because obviously McCaffrey to the 49ers is a pretty darn big trade, and a lot of draft capital got traded for him. Any other big ones headed our way, do you think?
Yeah, so I was a little surprised to see the McCaffrey deal. I wasn't completely floored, but obviously the 49ers were able to strike a deal without any first-round picks. And to answer your question, every year I tell people, let's temper expectations, right? We're not going to see any blockbusters. This year I feel like it's a little different. I think there's a lot of guys that are kind of bigger names out there that really have a possibility of being moved. I'm keeping an eye on Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Chase Claypool. I think the Packers could be an interesting landing spot for him because we just spent the past 5 minutes talking about the Packers' offensive woes. They need to add a legitimate wide receiver who can potentially be a new legitimate number 1. So keep an eye with Chase Claypool. But there's a couple of other wide receivers too. Jerry Jeudy could be on the move from the Denver Broncos. That draft pick is not working out. I'm still keeping an eye on Elijah Moore from the New York Jets. I absolutely love this kid. Kendrick Bourne from the Patriots is getting a ton of buzz as well. And then Denzel Mims from the Jets is a guy that I'm expecting to be moved as well. There's a couple cornerbacks. Greedy Williams from the Cleveland Browns is somebody I'd like the Titans to look into. I brought up William Jackson on the Commanders. He's another guy I would love Tennessee to look into. And maybe we also see Bradley Chubb move from the Denver Broncos as well. He's a name that's been thrown in with reports over the past couple of days. So to answer your question, yes, I do think that we're going to see some fairly, bigger trades when it comes to names that most casual NFL fans are familiar with.
Jordan Dajani, our guest, CBS Sports, talking NFL, same time every week on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, Jordan, give us your Power 5 ranking here as far as the NFL is concerned right now.
Yeah, at number 1, I'll probably stick with my Buffalo Bills. They look like the most complete team, the most deep team, a legitimate Lombardi contender. At number 2 and number 3, which are kind of interchangeable to me, the Philadelphia Eagles have still yet to lose a game, and then the Kansas City Chiefs. And we saw what they were capable offensively against the 49ers this past Sunday. Juju Smith-Schuster and Marquez Valdes-Scantling finally broke out, both going for over 100 yards, which you love to see. At number 4, I kind of have an interesting one. What about the Cincinnati Bengals? It looks like they might have righted the ship just a little bit. That offensive line is still not pristine. It's not elite. Nobody's claiming that. But at the same time, this Bengals team, they haven't allowed a second-half touchdown this season. And I think that speaks a lot to what this defense is capable of when it comes to crunch time. At number 5, that's kind of tough. I think I'm going to lean towards the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott didn't exactly light the world on fire in his return against the Detroit Lions. But obviously, I think a lot of people are expecting the offense to be better now that he's under center as opposed to Cooper Rush. We all know what this defense is capable of. Behind them, maybe I'll have the Vikings, the Giants, the 49ers, the Ravens, and how about we throw the Tennessee Titans in there at number 10?
Well, okay, you gave us the top 10. What is the Bengals record?
The Bengals' record is 4-3. They are currently tied for the lead in the AFC North.
Wow. Tough, man. To start off slow, now they're back in the hunt. I guess, and lastly here, kind of curveball for you. Off the top of your head, offense and defensive rookies of the year right now. Who's leading campfire?
This is a great question because I've actually been following this pretty tough. And, we've seen a lot of volatile lines when it comes to offensive rookie of the year. It used to be Chris Olave was the favorite. But now I'm looking at two of the young running backs that I brought up, Damian Pierce or Kenneth Walker. And I think Kenneth Walker is probably my favorite one out of those two backs. Watch him run the ball for the Seattle Seahawks. He's absolutely incredible. Now, as for defensive rookie of the year, Devin Lloyd for the Jaguars was the favorite all year, but he's plummeted down now. The easy favorite, and I'm going to implore you guys to bet this at currently plus 150, I believe, Sauce Gardner, the cornerback out of Cincinnati for the New York Jets, has been elite. He's been awesome for this team. He looks like a day one starter, a day one star, the reincarnation of Darrelle Revis up there in New York. I love Sauce Gardner. He's been absolutely huge for this Jets defense.
There you have it. Jordan Dajani, NFL writer for CBS Sports.
Hey, on the way out, like 30 seconds, what do you think about what you've seen with the Titans' new stadium renderings?
It looks very modern. I'll put it that way. It almost doesn't even look like a stadium, but I was impressed with it. It looks very cool. Obviously, the Titans are trying to do something very different with in terms of what their stadium's going to look like. It definitely blew me away. It was not what I was expecting. So, love seeing those renderings. I'm sure everybody around Nashville is excited for what this project's going to look like.
Well, yeah, one more question, though, on Thursday Night Football. Do you think now that the season is progressing, do you think the wear and tear is going to make Thursday Night Football not as appealing maybe as it was early on, even though most of those games were bad?
Yes and no. 200% you're right about the wear and tear going down on these athletes. There's no doubt about that. As the season progresses, Thursday Night Football, that's going to become more and more apparent because there's going to be players that are banged up not dressing on a short week. So that's obviously something that's correct. But here's the other thing. It matters what teams are playing, right? I mean, the Ravens and Buccaneers is kind of an interesting one compared to the teams with losing records. And then the Eagles and the Texans next week. We get to see Philly. Falcons, Panthers is another dud. But it really comes down to the teams that are suiting up on Thursday Night Football. But you're absolutely right about it. The wear and tear is something that all 32 NFL teams are dealing with right now.
Ravens, Bucks, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to have to look more into this matchup, but right now I'm definitely leaning towards the Baltimore Ravens. They haven't been good against the spread, but it's very hard to back the Bucks right now after seeing them over the past couple weeks.
There you go.
Jordan, good stuff, man. We'll talk to you again next week, same bat time and same bat channel. Thank you, sir.
All right, you guys are the best. Thank you.
Yes, sir. At Jordan Dajani, CBS Sports. When we come back, you want to give these tickets away, Lucas, on the other side? We have got, is that a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Up. Okay. I couldn't tell which way your thumb is going. All American 400 tickets at the Nashville Fairground Speedway this weekend. Tickets to give away next. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Got to get my headphones on the right way here. Finish up the show. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Would be remiss if I didn't say this. Once again, happy birthday, Lucas Panzica, who is 19, I think Blaine said. Also, happy 20th anniversary to my lovely wife, Christina.
Oh,
she has put up with me now
on the
for
same day that
2
Lucas
decades.
was created.
I'll never forget Lucas's birthday now.
Let's all get dinner together.
Yeah, for
There's something
sure.
that we don't know here on the
Just the three of us.
Okay.
All right. Yes, with my work son, Lucas Panzica. All right. You guys have your dialing fingers waiting. Let's do this. Racing fans, be caller number 5 now. You can win a pair of tickets to each night of the All-American 400 at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. It is coming up this weekend. That's 2 tickets to Friday and Saturday, plus Sunday's All-American 400. A lot of you wait all year long to hit up the historic Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway and see this extravaganza of racing. Caller 5 now, 615-737-1045. We'll get it for you. Blaine, you enjoy racing? You went to the IndyCar race, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh, yeah.
You like speed? The Hitman likes
and
likes
also
the speed.
course right here on Nissan Stadium going around. I went to that too as well.
Oh, you go to all of them, man. Big racing guy.
Well, I grew up, people don't realize, I grew up going to the 500, Indy 500 every year. Every year.
Were you in the infield where all the crazy people are?
Yeah, I definitely did that. I was also in the pace car. I was I won a debutante ball, and I was me and my missus who I was escorting was be able to be in the pace car.
What was that like? How fast?
Oh no! Well, we were just relaxed. There was the cars were behind us. I was in like a convertible car driving
I thought
around.
It was like you're
leading.
keeping the pace and like you're up around 100
when
or
I say
so,
pace
getting
car, I
everybody's
meant, like,
tires
we were
heated
just
up.
on the front of it. I'm sorry.
Oh man, like a parade lap. I like that.
I mislaid you a little bit there.
That had to be cool. That's a long lap around that place.
Yeah, so I was in
a
a tux. So I mean, I
nice.
wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't doing too much.
All right, I want to see pictures of this for sure.
I had to go back into some photo albums. I'm sure I got my mom. I'm sure has them.
Well, we got a picture of Woodchuck, the baby who loved milk.
Yeah.
We've seen his picture. You and Bryant Gumbel, and you got your glasses on. So we just need to see you taking the victory lap around the 500 with the tux
I don't know
on.
If I can come up with them.
All right, I know you can. Can the Titans find some help before the trade deadline? There's another potential trade for them. This time it's CBS Sports. It has them trading for Texans wide receiver Brandon Cooks. That the Titans would get Cooks and a 2023 6-rounder, and they would trade a 2023 5th-rounder and a 2024 6th-rounder. So they're exchanging sixes, and they lose
basically
a fifth.
So basically trading for a fifth.
For Brandon Cooks. Did you do that?
Ooh. What's his salary? And how much he had? I don't think it's going to happen within the division, but I like that trade, though. Because you bring in speed. He's also, he has some return ability to him, but he has some explosive playmaking ability. If his salary is 15 and under, and he's got like 2 years left on his deal, yeah, I'd give up a 5th rounder and you swap 6th-round picks.
He's like the most traded person he's been. It seems like he goes.
This to be his 3rd time.
Yeah, he's somewhere all the time.
Yeah, he's kind of that guy. He's not a real number 1, but he's a 1B type player. Because of his speed. I remember looking him up when he came out. I mean, he was a track star and then a football player too, so that he merged that together. Oh my, you got something pretty special.
His base salary for this year is $1.1 million. Now, he had just signed, I guess, some kind of 2-year extension.
Okay.
His 2023 salary is $18. His 2024 is $13.
Oh, that's not bad. So you got to say really his salary is around 15 for the next 2 years.
Averaging it up, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think that's bad because I think that's the type of player and you're not giving up a lot. I just don't think it's going to happen Texans to the Titans. And I don't think they're trying to help us out, especially they got to play us one more time. If they were done playing us like the Colts, I see that feasible. Then, you got to wait on to next year. You never know who's on the team or not. But, yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen.
He has 6,000-yard seasons in his career. And the other 2 years, he had 500 plus. He's either had 500 and something or over 1,000 every year of his career.
Yeah. No, he's a solid player. Player. He's done his damage versus the Titans, so he's a fast guy. So, yeah, quality. Everything at this point helps. It's a matter of how much you want to give up for it. And that's not a lot looking at the whole scheme of games or what he would bring to the table for the Titans. Like if they have him, Conley, then you have Burks on the shelf coming back, and then with Phillips with the crew that's already been out there. Now we're talking about a solid group, a really solid group of players, some proven, some young, and you got a good little mix there. I like that. I think you can win with that even in the playoffs with adding a guy like that.
Lucas is about to start playing our music. Do they need O-line help more, or do they need receiver help more?
O-line.
Okay.
Nobody's going to give that up, though. Not something that's a starter worthy for a fifth rounder. No.
I even asked you the other day about a swing tackle, and you're like, people kill to have those. I don't think anybody give up a swing tackle.
No, I just don't. Yeah, tackle, offensive tackle, and defensive end, tough to come by. Those are special, special players.
Well, this was a special, special show.